Hi, everybody. It's Colin from dmbnews.net. I recently spoke with Jeff Coffin, who's now on tour with his band, the Mutet. I asked him to describe the sound of the Mutet and how it compares to some of his other projects, such as Dave Matthews Band and Bela Fleck and the Flecktones.
Well, the sound of the band, I think, is pretty unique, but it's also sort of rooted within a traditional sound too. But how it's rooted and what fruit it's bearing, I think, are two totally different things. But we've got trumpet and tenor up front. We're both using a lot of different pedals and a lot of different sounds of the instruments, playing them in very, I would say, sort of unusual ways, unorthodox ways, with unorthodox sounds.
Jeff also just released an album called Duet with Jeff Sipe, who's the drummer for the Mutet as well as for Aquarium Rescue Unit. Here he talks about how that project came about.
Well, we've been talking about it for quite a while, and over the years, about our love for just getting together and just playing and exploring music, and so we decided that we would, try our hand at that and see what came out the other side. It's about 2.5 days in Brevard, North Carolina, and then I took all the Pro Tools files back with me and started the editing process, and so I basically sort of wove them all together, the parts that we decided that we were both really comfortable with, wove them together and basically made it one long seamless piece. It's supposed to be listened to in its entirety. It's about 45 minutes long. It's a very interesting, to me, it's a really interesting exploration, conversation and dialogue that's going on between Jeff and I. And, using a lot of different instrumentation. Obviously saxes and drums, but there's bells and whistles and gongs and shakers and all sorts of different things. So, it's sort of exploring the different sounds that we're interested in, and it's not avant-garde at all to me. It's very accessible and a very interesting thing to listen to. We're trying to reach people with music. We're not trying to estrange them. And so the idea is to draw people in and allow them to sort of discover certain things within that dialogue also. And I think it's very warm. I think it's very inviting. I think it's unusual also. And I think that when people listen to it, when it's over, I think they're going to go, "Wow, it's over already." But we also recorded this group in October of last year. For a project that will hopefully be out sometime at the end of this year with the full Mutet. And so we're all very excited about that as well.
Next week, Jeff will come to Berklee College of Music in Boston to conduct the Massachusetts All-State Jazz Ensemble. He's also putting on several music education clinics while he's on tour, which I asked him about.
We usually go out for a week or two at a time. We'll do clinics and gigs along the way. We're playing in New York City at Drome. It's club down in Lower Manhattan. And we did clinics and gigs with a couple of different high schools also, and another in Fairfield, Connecticut. So it's good, man. It's a nice combination of things for everybody. And get to work with students, which of course, that's sort of providing the base for the next generation of listeners. So we're trying to open them up for that also. We're trying to open them up to not only what we're doing educationally, but what we're doing musically also, that will hopefully invite them out to come see the shows.
Jeff joined DMB in 2008, and he had guested with the band many times before that. Here he talks about what he likes about playing with DMB.
Well, I enjoy playing with the vocalists. I always have, and I also love playing instrumental music. So it feeds one of the heads that I'm really interested in. Mm-hmm. And when I first joined the Flecktones, one of the things that Bela said to me, and I think it was a brilliant thing that he said you have to realize that this group isn't everything for any of us. Mm-hmm. This group isn't everything for any of us. Meaning that it's okay to go out and do other projects. You're probably not ever going to find the perfect gig, and I don't think that anybody ever has. Every musician that I know that is playing with other people like that has a very steady gig, is also playing with other players.
Right.
Everybody in DMB does different projects also. And everybody in the Flecktones does different projects. Everybody in the Mutet does different projects, et cetera, all along down the line. And I would wager that every band you could mention, that's probably the case. And so I think that understanding that and realizing that is a very important thing. And so for me, getting to play with a vocalist is a really great thing. And I really enjoy that. I love playing off of what Dave does also, not only rhythmically, but melodically as well. Playing with Carter Beauford is really a joy for a lot of different reasons. I think Stefan has really come into his own in the last few years too as a incredibly creative bass player. Obviously, playing with Rashawn is great. I really enjoy the sound of the section that we have, and really getting things locked up and tight and feeling great. Boyd is really wonderful to be around and play with also. He brings a whole different energy to it. And Tim Reynolds, he's one of the great guitar players out there. So people ask me sort of, what's my favorite part of playing music, and my answer is always, getting to listen to the other players that I get to play with. Because I love listening to music. And every night, I get to listen to the Mutet. I get to listen to 4 other incredible musicians. And with Dave, there's 7 of us on stage, so there's 6 others I get to listen to. And with Vela, there's 3 others I get to listen to. So I get to do a lot of listening throughout the nights when I'm playing with these different groups, and I really enjoy that.
After Jeff talked about the band members, I asked him what are his favorite DMB songs to play.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have a favorite song. I really like them all, man. I wasn't really that familiar with their music when I first came into the situation, and so I've really grown into listening to the music as I've also learned the music internally. So it's been a pretty unique listening experience. So I'm not sure I have a particularly favorite song. I like to I like songs with really great melodies and really great songwriting. So songs that have those qualities to me are probably ones that I enjoy the most. But I think the world of Dave as not only a person but as a songwriter too. And there's really no songs that I dislike. It's the same with the Mutet also. We write a lot of material and we've been writing material together for this last project and reworking it together, and so it's the same kind of thing. We've been doing 2.5, almost 3-hour shows straight through sometimes, and it feels like it's about 45 minutes.
And that answer led to a follow-up about his personal approach to songwriting.
There's a lot of different approaches I have to it. A lot of times I write on the horn, and there are times where I'll sketch out an idea or come up with something and then sort of bring it in and say, okay, I want to work on this, and we'll sort of work on it together. Sometimes I come up with it that's fully formed, and then I sort of let the band morph it from there. But I'm always looking for a good melody, something that really kind of catches my ear. I can come up with an idea, sketch it out, go back to it the next day, and just go, oh, this is just crap. When the night before I thought, wow, this is great. And so it's sometimes a perspective. So it has to last for me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what I find is that if I'm, I'll sort of write these little microbursts. I'm not the kind of person that's going to write every day. I'll usually sort of work on a particular idea that may involve a couple of different tunes that are sort of in the same concept, I guess you might say. And one of those tunes will eventually win out. And but certain elements are usually in there. And I think the record that we just recorded is really fantastic, really different, really interesting. And again, it's some of the stuff we're already playing on the road. We don't want to give everything away yet, of course. But some of the stuff we've already been playing.
Jeff's been very busy lately, but I asked him what he likes to do when he's not writing, recording, or touring.
Well, yeah, I haven't had much time lately, but I'm pretty deeply into photography. If you're interested, you can go to jeffcoffinphotography.com. There's a lot of stuff for my travels and you know, lots of different places I've been and how I sort of see things. And so, yeah, photography in a lot of ways. But man, I'm so involved with what I'm doing. It's, you know, it's hard to find much time to do much else other than, you know, when I'm at home hanging out with my wife, which I just love doing. You don't get to do that nearly enough. And so, you know, I'm trying to use each slice of time pretty effectively these days.
Jeff was born in Marlborough, Massachusetts, and grew up in the Northeast before attending school in Texas and settling in Nashville. To end the interview, he told me how excited he was to play with DMB at Fenway Park back in 2009.
Oh, man, you have no idea. So I grew up playing ball also, you know. That was always the dream. Never thought I'd be playing music, but it was always a dream. Yeah. Yeah. I may have a little infield dirt at home. I'm not saying. I'm just saying I may. I can neither confirm nor deny. Yeah, we got pictures in the dugout. And, the trumpet player in the Duet, Bill Fanning, was with me. And so, you know, like hanging out at the Green Monster, you know, seeing the Sox on top of the Yankees. And, yeah, it was a thrill, man. An absolute thrill.
I'd like to thank Jeff Coffin for his time. He was great to talk to and a really nice guy. For the latest Dave Matthews Band news, check out dmbnews.net. Thanks for listening.